All right. Hello, Heschel Zoomers. We've got the pleasure of having two of our outstanding high school athletes from the high school to speak with us today about what it's like being an athlete, a student athlete at the Heschel High School. They're going to talk a little bit about themselves and what it's like to be on a team and to experience playing sports at Heschel. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Josh Flug, and I teach in the lower school and middle school PE department. And I also had the pleasure of coaching in the middle school girls basketball team. And I also am the assistant boys varsity coach uh, at the Heschel High School. And I'm going to turn it over to Megan right now, who will say a couple of words about herself and introduce our athletes that we're going to speak with today.
Thanks, Josh. Hey, everyone. Most of the middle school and lower school probably doesn't know me, but my desk is in the high school, teach PE there. I also coach the girls varsity basketball team. I was lucky enough to coach Maya here. She was our star athlete for 4 years. She basically brought us to 2 playoff appearances. I assistant coached the baseball team as well. Rick kind of just came to the office one day. I was like, hey, want to coach? And I was lucky enough to help them go all the way to the semifinals in the playoffs. And Eli is one of our big power hitters, so I was really lucky to coach him as well. So hopefully, you guys, they're great inspiration. So please listen up. I'm going to send it over to Maya.
All right, hi. I'm Maya. We're both seniors. As Meg said, I've been on the basketball team for 4 years. I'm been on the hockey team as well for 4 years, coming off of 2 championship wins, which is pretty exciting back to back. And I also joined the tennis team this year, which was new. So we'll see if I get to continue that. But yeah, Eli.
Yeah, I'm Eli. I played JV basketball for 2 years and varsity. These last 2 years, I was on the team that won the championship my junior year, and then baseball, I've played varsity all 4 years. I mean, there's only one team in the high school, but yeah, yeah, that's been my high school athletic career. So
Maybe you can talk about some ways in which you maybe felt supported by your teammates, where they encouraged you, helped you out in a certain situation. And also just overall, maybe you can just talk a little bit about the demand of being on a team and carrying your academic responsibilities and how you balance those things. So it's sort of like I gave you sort of like 2 questions there, a little bit about talking about what it's like on a team and how you experience that. And also the part about balancing your personal needs, your academic needs, your social needs, and family needs with that of the team, and how you're able to put those things together. Why don't we'll go back to Maya, and then we'll go to Eli. Go ahead, Maya.
Yeah. So there's one moment in particular that I'm remembering. It was a basketball game in December this year, and our game was at 7, and I was getting my college admission decision to my ED school at 7:15, and I was very anxious about it. I was just overcome with emotions, and before the game, during the game, after the game, my coaches, my teammates, they were there for me. I mean, at halftime, I broke down in the locker room when we were, talking about our strategy for the next half. And all of my teammates came. They gave me a huge hug. They were talking to me, helping me out. My coaches came over and just talked to me about it and helped me get through it. And it was a really tough game to play with a lot on the line. But I remember feeling so supported, and everyone was trying to help me. And so that's always a good feeling to remember. Yeah. And to have. And I think that it applies to any sport that you're on, any team that you're on. Heschel just creates this community that whatever's going on, they'll always be there. And I think in terms of academics, it's a lot about time management, but you learn how to do it. And every teacher is so understanding. If you say, you know, I have a late game that's away and I won't be getting home till later, do you mind if I get an extension on it? And then you do have to take it up on yourself to actually do the work. But, you know, if you have to sacrifice a long bus ride to a game instead of listening to music and hanging out with friends, you got to do your math homework, then you figure out what to do. But I think it's all about the community, whether it's teachers, coaches, teammates, they're just all there for you.
Yeah, so the game, like the sports that I've played in high school, basketball and baseball, I they're both very mental. You just have to be like you have to be focused, but you also sometimes in both of these games you can be your own worst enemy. And I think what like the teams I've been a part of have done really well is like pick each other up in that sense. So like it's just a really supportive group. Like, I mean, there are physical ways you can like be a good teammate. Like, I don't know, like taking a charge or making an extra pass or something like that. But I think more importantly to me is like when I don't know, if someone makes a mistake, like someone I don't know, yeah, like throws a bad pass, happens to miss a shot. Like sometimes people get really frustrated, and if as soon as you get frustrated and start brooding over what you've just done, you're instantly a worse player. And that goes for any sport I can think of. Like if you strike out and you're thinking about that the next time you go up to hit, like you're just not going to be as good. You're not going to be as prepared. So what teammates have done for me, like in my experience, is like help me move on and just like reassure you and be there for you and be like, look, we get it. Like we've all been there. It happens and you just have to move on, and we're going to move on as a team. And it's about that. It's about not pointing fingers like after losses. No one gets any blame. Honestly, sometimes like our coaches, both my basketball and baseball coaches, can get a little I don't know, fiery sometimes. And sometimes as teammates, you have to like back each other up in those senses. Like if a coach is getting on someone, then sometimes you just got to go like pat someone on the back and be like, hey, look, like it happens and we're all with you. So and then that just ends up bringing you even closer too as a team. So yeah, and I mean that's the thing that I am missing the most. Like those teams were really some of my best friends in the whole world, and like what you go through together on sports teams, like the pain, practice, games, all that kind of thing, like the highs and lows, it bonds you together like really nothing else. And yeah, and then in terms of balancing work and stuff, like Maya said, it's about time management. And I mean, that's another sense. I think teammates support each other even with like work. Like often if we have a late practice or a late game, like a bunch of us will go to the library and, you know, like work on our math homework together or like physics homework or that kind of thing. I've done like bunch like study sessions we'll have together. And I think but it is about like managing is important, because you have to understand that like there are certain things that if you aren't like getting ahead on them, they will destroy you. Like if you have an essay due after a late practice, you have to have done part of that. Otherwise, like you're going to be up till like 3 a.m. So it's a little bit of just, you have to be a little bit ready for it. But like there was not one time in my high school career where I missed a practice because I was like, I have too much work tonight, I can't do it. Like, because if you make sure that you are able to do it, you're able to do it. It's a matter of taking that upon yourself. So
Yeah, those time management skills that you develop while being on a team at high school are tools that, if you get that down in high school, that's going to serve you well for when you get into college and in your life going forward. So that's another great thing about being on a team sport in high school. You really have to start to hone those skills earlier on in your life than maybe someone who has a lot of time on their hands and doesn't have a demanding extracurricular schedule. Okay, Meg, do you want to take one?
Okay, so again, I'm fortunate to have experienced both of you in a practice setting as well. And one thing I noticed with both of you, you both have a relentless work ethic like I've never seen, especially at a school like our school. Sometimes I have to rip you away from a drill because you just want to get your last shot and you're like, no, I need to do 10 more. And then Eli, you're in the corner on the tee for probably about an hour. And those type of characteristics are what fuel like even next level athletes at the college level. So my question to you, both of you, is where do you think this stemmed from? Was it in your childhood? Was it in lower school that like it just kind of like went off in your brain, middle school? Like when were you able to kind of like develop this type of motivation that you both have?
Yeah, for sure. I in all honesty, it came from sports. You know, you learn to uh, there's always someone better than you. There's always your biggest rival that you want to play that you always lose to, and it makes you want to be better. At least for me, you know, I wanted to be the best player that I could be, and whatever I wanted to achieve, you got to put in the work to do that. And you know, going back to academics, I was in sixth grade. I was failing math. I didn't want to study for it. I didn't do the homework. It was like not for me, totally gave up on it. And I got a really bad test grade one time and I was telling my mom and I completely just started crying, and because I didn't like it. It's not a good feeling to not be doing well in something. And she was reminding me about all of these different sports teams that I've played that have just destroyed us, and that I, you know, decided to get better and better, and our team started to win, and it just changed everything. And so I applied that kind of energy that I had in sports, that I want to beat them, I want to be better, and I applied it to school. And it helped a lot, and I started improving in math and in all other subjects. And so I think it's a lot about personal personal reflection, just kind of looking on yourself and saying, you know, if you want whatever you want to do, if you want to do it, do whatever it takes to get there. If that means, you know, taking 10 more shots on the drill or going on the tee for an hour, whatever you have to do, it's up to you to get yourself there.
Yeah, I mean, I'll echo everything Maya said. I I I think that like one of the odd things for me was that like, I mean, I always loved sports. So like when I would put in like work into sports, like lower school, middle school, whatever, at practices, I always enjoyed doing that. I wanted to be there. And so one thing like that I think kind of taught me discipline in a different way was piano. Like I've played piano since I was really little. And I didn't like it. Like I really didn't like it for a long time. But I had to practice. It was just, I mean, it was a necessity. My parents forced me to. I had a teacher. I had to like be prepared for lessons. And so that like, I think it was probably that taught me like how to kind of grind for something, even if I wasn't particularly enjoying it. And look, so sports have always been different for me because, as I said, like I've always loved it. But I do think that like there have been times where like it is something of a grind, right? Like when I'm like it's different to be playing like 3-on-3 with really good friends, or to like literally go out to a court by myself with a ball and just like do these random drills and like look like a crazy person and get like a bunch of shots up. That like it's obviously less fun intrinsically, but I think what and I, honestly, in terms of where I got it, like watch out. sorry. In terms of where I got it, like I think it it's like it came from coaches. Like I think the coaches were the people who were like, look, you should apply yourself to this in the same way you apply yourself to like I don't know, like everything else you want to be really great at, like, and even to the extent that sometimes it's not like the most fun thing in the world. But I remember what Coach Pick always says is he's like, look, what's fun is when you put in work and see results. Like that actually is fun, and that's the most rewarding thing of all, because then you've earned something. And even if the individual workouts like aren't making you like, I don't know, aren't like making your day, it's what's really great is seeing that pay off. And so I don't know, I think that really it's a testament to like the coaches here who have like kind of inspired me to take that upon myself. And yeah, like I think that the work ethic will get you having more fun in like the real sense. I think like seeing good work pay off.
I want to echo it. Maya, what is your favorite pregame meal?
It's actually not a meal, but
Okay.
before any game I play in any sport, I have to have either sparkling water or like some sort of Gatorade, Powerade, something like that. Just something to kind of get me going.
Okay, Eli.
Yeah, this is also not a meal. I kind of a cop out. Before every basketball game this year, I had bubble tea.
Okay,
It's got me going.
all right. What is your favorite sports movie?
Maybe you remember the Titans.
Okay,
No?
all right. Maya,
Hoosiers.
Hoosiers. That's a good one. Okay.
Yeah.
And Maya, what is your favorite place to hang out at Heschel?
Probably the high school gym. Whether it's the locker room or, you know, that little desk next to the amp. It's definitely the gym.
Eli?
Yeah, no, like, and this is not even necessarily like a gym rat sense. It's very clearly the high school gym to me. Like that, I spent all of my lunch periods. Like, it's like just honestly, the gym atmosphere is so great. Like,
Yeah.
I was like music playing, like everyone just like having a good time. It's the best way to decompress in the middle of the day. Honestly, that's what I miss most in Zoom school.
Mm-hmm.
So even when you're not playing sports, you guys are still in the gym. We still can't get you out of the gym.
All the time.
Yeah, exactly.
All the time.
Okay. All right. I'm going to wind this up. I just want to thank the two of you for joining Meg and myself for this, for you to share some of your experiences with the lower schoolers and middle schoolers and whoever else is watching. And I want to thank you very much. Hope you guys are getting through this very tricky and tough time. And thanks for sharing your experiences with us.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us. I'm glad I got to participate. And for any of the lower school or middle schoolers, if you have any questions or want to know what it's like playing sports, specifically at Heschel, I'd be happy to answer them.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. All right.